Welcome back to another edition of Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. I'm your guy, DeShields II. Appreciate the love and the support that you guys always give. Continue to smash that like button. Continue to comment below because all the engagement, all your thoughts and feelings are greatly appreciated because it adds to the show, it adds to the network, and also you guys challenge my thought process. And that's pretty much all we want here. We want you guys to continue to challenge yourselves, challenge your peers, and also challenge me because at the end of the day, I'm not perfect, but I want to learn and I want to continue to be a better content creator for you guys. So continue to smash that like button and always stay locked in. Now, I want to talk about the Miles Sanders situation in Philadelphia. Obviously, Miles Sanders' contract is up. He's going to be a free agent, and his market is going to be interesting because there are some running backs that are due up to get paid that some would deem better than him, like a Josh Jacobs and a Saquon Barkley, guys like that, right? And, Miles Sanders had a spectacular fourth season with the Philadelphia Eagles. He put up over 1,200 rushing yards, double-digit touchdowns, average, I believe, 5 yards a carry, something like that. He had a hell of a season. That's just the reality. And he was efficient. He benefited from, having a stout offensive line with the Philadelphia Eagles. He benefited from having Jalen Hurts back there with the RPO and the zone read and so on and so forth. And that's not to take anything away from what Miles Sanders did. That's just the reality. I'm personally of the mindset that Miles Sanders actually could have had his first 1,000-yard season. Obviously his fourth season, it took a long time for him to get to the 1,000-yard mark. I think he could have did that because, let's be honest, throughout his career, he hasn't been able to stay healthy for the most part. And given those circumstances, you have to be mindful of how much money you want to commit to him long term. And also, he's a running back, right? And running back miles don't really translate that well. When you dedicate too many resources to the running back position, like the Dallas Cowboys have done, you end up regretting it in the long run. We obviously see the New York Giants skeptical to give Saquon Barkley a long-term contract, right? The rumor is the Minnesota Vikings are trying to move on from Dalvin Cook. Another rumor, the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to move on from Joe Mixon. So when you think about all those varying situations, the league understands dedicating a lot of resources or allocating a lot of resources to the running back position is tough, and it's a hard sell, especially to GMs in this new age NFL where it's a passing league and most of the money is being given to wide receivers and quarterbacks and edge rushers who are meant to stop those quarterbacks, and money is given to the cornerbacks who are meant to stop those wide receivers. So we see where most of the resources are being allocated in the NFL. But when it comes to Miles Sanders' situation in particular, he actually posted something on his Instagram story basically saying this: I love Philly. Just bring me back. I hope they bring me back. To Howie Roseman, I love you. I hope you guys love me too. So Booby Miles wants to be back in Philadelphia. That's what it appears like, right? He wants to be back in Philly, but I think he also understands that this is going to be his one and only opportunity to max out his contract in the NFL. It's hard for running backs to get to that third contract. Most teams don't want to give it to them. It's hard enough for running backs to get to the second contract. So how much do you pay Miles Sanders? Because if I'm looking at that post on his social media, is he trying to give Philadelphia a hometown discount? I don't know. It's hard to really say that because, again, he wants to be in Philadelphia, but at the same time, he also understands the running back market. He understands how running backs are treated in the NFL. So how much is he willing to give the Eagles a hometown discount? Is he trying to max out his dollars while he still has his legs under him? And you got to think about it from this perspective as well. Howie Roseman has never given big money to running backs. Never. And whenever he has, they moved on from those guys pretty soon after that. But for the most part, Howie Roseman does not like giving money to running backs. That's just the reality. Most teams don't like to do that. Any team, in my opinion, that dedicates big money to running backs or spends a first-round pick on a running back, you're doing it all wrong. That's just my humble opinion. I'm not here to judge people. I'm here to just give you my spiel or my perspective on the thing, right? But a guy like Miles Sanders, talented, young brother, 25 years old, starting to come into his own. There are still parts of his game that I'm not a fan of, but overall, he's a solid running back. So you have to ask yourself, where does Miles Sanders rank amongst running backs in the NFL. Where should his contract be? Now, I was looking at some running back contracts in the NFL, right? Christian McCaffrey, 16 million. Ezekiel Elliott, 15 million. And this is average salary, by the way. Alvin Kamara at 15 million. Dalvin Cook at 12.6 million. Derrick Henry at 12.5. Nick Chubb at 12.2. Aaron Jones at 12 million. Joe Mixon at 12 million. And then it's a big drop off to James Conner at 7 million. I think that's the area where Miles Sanders is better suited. He's not in that double-digit million range. You follow me? He's in the single digits. He's in the he's in the seven figures, not in the eight figures. So James Conner at 7 million, I think James Conner is actually overpaid, but that's neither here nor there. Leonard Fournette, same thing, overpaid. Nyheim Hines, Austin Eckler are at 6.2, 6.1 million. I think that's where Miles Sanders is going to flirt at, because if you look at Spotrac or Spotrac, however you want to pronounce it, I've always pronounced it as Spotrac, but some people say Spotrac. If you look at his market value, according to Spotrac, they have him at 2 years, 14.4 million. So basically, they have him at an average annual salary of 7.2 million per year. I don't see Howie Roseman going that high. I just don't. This is what I think is a pretty reasonable contract for Miles Sanders in any situation, right? Because again, I don't think Miles Sanders is going to get market value. Now, you may see some teams overpay the running back position because they're desperate, right? I got to actually look into which teams need a running back, but there are teams who are willing to overpay or overspend a bit for the running back position. Howie Roseman's not that guy. So if there's any situation where Miles Sanders comes back, it's definitely going to be less than 7.2 million per year. If I'm being honest with myself, I don't think Miles Sanders is coming back, because the reality is the running back position doesn't last long, and you want to get your money while you can. If Miles Sanders is smart, he will get his money while he can. No one will blame him. I won't blame him. The organization won't blame him. I'm pretty sure the fan base won't blame Miles Sanders for going to get his money. You got to do it. I respect the game too much. I respect how much these guys leave on the field too much, right? Did he have a great Super Bowl campaign? No. But I can't get mad at Miles Sanders for trying to get his money. Now, here's the reason why he won't get it in Philadelphia, because I don't think he's going to get it. But here's the reason why he won't. He won't get it because if you look at a guy like Isaiah Pacheco in Kansas City, they found him in the 7th round. They're not paying him anything. He gave them that amount of production in the Super Bowl and that amount of production all season, right? A guy like Kenny Gainwell, he actually had a better playoff campaign than Miles Sanders, if you think about it. So there are variables outside of just the money that make it hard for Miles Sanders to come back. When you could find a guy in the later rounds that can do just as well, and you have an offensive line like the Eagles, why would you spend big money on a running back? If you can have a running back there that you got in the 4th, 5th, 6th round, and he's averaging 4 to 5 yards a carry behind the Eagles offensive line, which many running backs have shown that they're capable of doing, why would I spend big money on a running back? So if Miles Sanders is going to get his money in any situation, this is what I think is more realistic for him. I think Miles Sanders is probably going to get somewhere along the lines of, and again, these are roundabout numbers, right? These numbers aren't really too specific, like a Spotrac or Spotrac or over the cap, right? These are pretty much roundabout numbers because I want my math to be easy. I'm not a math major or a math whiz, so follow me here. Miles Sanders, I anticipate him getting somewhere along the lines of 3 years, 18 million, which is a 6 million average salary. Or if you want something a little long term, maybe a 4-year contract worth $23 million, which is a 5.75 million annual average salary. So, look, I don't think Miles Sanders is going to get the market rate. I just don't think so. Again, Spotrac has him at 2 years, 14.4 million, which is 7.2 million average salary. That's a good number. Is you're not breaking the bank with that, and that definitely puts him on par with guys like James Conner and Leonard Fournette, and puts him above guys like Nyheim Hines and Austin Eckler. But he's not in that 8-figure range. He's definitely going to be in the 7-figure range. I definitely see Miles Sanders getting between 5.5 to 7 million. I don't see him going above 7 million at all. But that's his market rate. That's the market value for him. But I want to know what you guys think, right? Do you guys think the Eagles have a chance of bringing back Miles Sanders? Do you think Miles Sanders has a chance of coming back to Philadelphia? The reality is the Eagles don't want to spend big money on a running back. They already got to make sure they pay Jalen Hurts. They want to bring back CJ Garner-Johnson. They got other veterans that they're thinking about bringing back on defense. So Miles Sanders, in my opinion, is the last contract on Howie Roseman in the Eagles' mind. But I want to know what you guys think. Is Miles Sanders worth a 2-year contract at $14 million? Right, which is a $7.2 million annual salary average. Do you guys think Miles Sanders is worth $7 million a year, $6 million a year, $5 million a year? What do you guys think is the contract that's perfect for Miles Sanders to be back in Philadelphia? And if he's not back in Philadelphia, where do you guys think he's going to end up? Right? Will he go to the AFC? Will he remain in the NFC? Right? Which teams do you think will really benefit from having the services of a guy like Miles Sanders? Smash that like button, and I want you guys to comment below all your thoughts to what I asked you. I'm your guy, DeShields II. You were locked in on Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got charged to the game. One love, stay humble, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay hungry.